What is up, guys? NYKF31 here, Madden 18. This is a salary cap ranked video, and I'm just showing you my team here. I'm trying a little something different, or something new rather, on offense. So ignore the offense because I'm going to be terrible at it. I'm going to be focusing though on my defensive players as I talk about something in this video about the game that's both a good thing and idea, but it's also a bit of a problem. And that this is a game of ratings thresholds, specifically the 90 and above ratings threshold. As you'll see, Rodney Harrison there with 91 zone coverage, 91 play rec, chemmed up. Johnny Abraham with 90 power move, chemmed up. I have that MUT hero Baby Bosa. He's got 95 finesse move. And flashback Kerrigan with 92 power move. And what you're going to see, what happens in this game, the way these ratings thresholds work is that 90 is the magic number. 90 and above is where magic starts to happen. As far as your players being able to recognize plays, your pass rushers being able to just detonate mismatches, and your coverage people being able to recognize routes and break on the ball. On offense, that 90 threshold is where you won't get those drop catches in space and those wild overthrows, those quote unquote random outcomes that competitive players can't stand. And, while that concept of the 90 and above guys being able to quote unquote super win in the trenches and be able to see your coverage guys in deep zones do things, it's also an issue because it requires these guys with these really high ratings, it requires you to have them just to have them do basic routine things well. For example, I'm not expecting a corner with, let's say, 82 man coverage and zone coverage to be able to cover, say, flashback Julian Edelman with his 91 route running on his own. But what I do expect, I don't think is unreasonable, is for him to be able to identify the one route in his area and not be out of phase and give up his leverage for no reason. Now that play right there by Rodney Harrison on the INT in cover 9 is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Go back and watch it again. As soon as Cousins began his throwing motion, he was going. He was breaking on his route. He saw it, he ID'd it, made the play. If he has 90, probably a smidge late and he breaks it up instead of INTing it. If he has 88 or 89, that's probably a completion. And if he's 80 to 85, you're positively screwed because he'll just sit there and watch it. And then you're yelling at your screen because you're frustrated because a guy who has good enough ratings to be on the field, even though he may not be a superstar, is simply not able to react and identify a simple seamer coming right at him. Zan Forward Progress Madden, if you guys aren't familiar with him, he did an awesome video on this a few weeks ago, probably about a month ago now, where he broke down exactly how these players react based off of their rating threshold, whether they're, between 80 to 88, 89, and whether they're 90 or whether they're above 90. So when you're watching these EA tournaments and you see everybody using the Seattle Seahawks, well, it makes sense. They're the one team in the game that gives you the most guys with those 90 block shed and pass rush moves on the defensive line and those 90 and above ratings between Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman. Why wouldn't you use them? Plus all that hit power at linebacker. As opposed to when you see guys playing with the Falcons, they're scoring because the Falcons are that good on offense, but they're also scoring because the Falcons defense, they don't have those guys. And you can just march the ball up and down the field. Now in online CFM mode, you still have it, but it's not quite as drastic. And the reason, as you see, there's Kerrigan. I mean, this guy has no chance. No one in salary cap ranked has the offensive line or has the resources allocated to the offensive line to be able to block these guys. There are offensive linemen that have the ratings, but Bosa, good luck. I mean, there are offensive linemen that have the ratings, but they're terribly expensive and they take up a lot of cap. And guys want those defensive backs that meet the ratings threshold, so they'll scrimp on the O-line and just hope for the best. But I was saying, in CFM mode, it's not quite as drastic. You still see it, but there's more of a spread of talent and players in online CFM mode, on sim settings especially, than you would see in MUT. like an online CFM, you'll have games where you go up against teams that may not have anyone, or maybe have one receiver that's above, mid to high 70s in route running or catching traffic. So you're not hurt as much. But in the MUT world, where it's all about getting them goons, it creates an environment where only a select few cards have any value, and a whole bunch of items are basically useless. As you see here, his offensive line is just caving in. And by the way, this is how an elite passer should play. So that's fine, even though you have to put your defensive line on aggressive to really get them to tee off and fire. But if you're a guy that doesn't have a lot of these items that have 90 and above, you maybe have a couple, or you may have just a bunch of guys that have mid to high 80s or low to mid 80s, it's going to be tough out there. It's not going to be easy. Now, the good news is that not all of these items carry a monstrous price tag. Like, for example, there's Bosa again. You can get that Bosa that I'm using for, I don't know, 30, 40K. And there's a Terrence Newman MUT Hero that has 90 zone coverage that can get for around the same price. Now, stuff like the Terrence Newman MUT Ultimate Hero, that goes for, a few hundred K. Your Aqib Talibs, your Richard Sherman, your Chris Harris, they go for tons of money. And if you want a quarterback that meets those accuracy thresholds, they cost a fortune as well. So, there you go. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Talk to you all later. Peace.